Hello and welcome to Managing Change. There are lots of definitions of change, but my favorite definition is change is just a disruption in expectations. So you're probably wondering what I mean by a change in expectations. You have a vision of what success is going to look like, what something is going to feel like when you get to a certain point, and that changes. It could be driven by many things. It could be market changes. It could be a new leader. It could be changes in technology, or it could be something in your personal life. The change model I'm sharing with you is all about disruption and expectations, and it's about any type of change, whether it's positive, neutral, or negative. There are a few components to this change model. One is that every change starts with an ending. And second, we use change and transition interchangeably, but in this model, they're specifically different. Let's talk about the terms change and transition. Change is situational, and it focuses on the outcome. Transitions are based on the endings we must make. Here's an example of the difference between change and transition. Imagine you've been working on your computer in the dark for quite a while and making really great progress. Suddenly, I walk into the room and turn on the light. The change was me coming into the room and turning on the lights. The change was simple for me because I was coming in from light to light. The transition for you, however, was different. You had to adjust from dark to light and make a mental transition from the work you were doing to me walking into the room. I really enjoy using this model because you can draw it on the back of a napkin, and it applies to all types of changes, whether they're personal or professional. The change model has three parts: the ending, the neutral zone, and the new beginning. With endings, there are losses. And with losses, there is grief. We grieve people, but we don't talk about the grief that's related to other types of losses. Let's take a look at the stages of grief. We recognize these when we lose a person, but they also show up in the workplace. Shock and denial may show up as confusion, fear, and blame. Anger can show up as anxiety, embarrassment, or even shame. Depression and detachment can just be the blahs. I just don't feel like I used to. Dialogue and bargaining is coming to terms with what was lost and making meaning out of it. I want to talk about it again and again. Eventually, we get to acceptance. The thing that I want to point out here is that you don't get to check off one box to move to the next. It's fluid. So one day you may feel like you're close to acceptance, and the next day you may feel anger. You're probably wondering how to deal with endings. Well, here's a few suggestions. The first is to treat the past with respect. You may be getting a new system and have been very frustrated with the system you were using before. You need to remember that the system that frustrates you brought you to the place you are now, and people worked really hard on making that system successful. Don't just say get over it. Understand, when you say that, it can make people more rooted in the past and hold on. Accept and expect grieving. But understand you can help people move forward by defining what's ending and what isn't. Now you know this change model and you can use it in any aspect of your life.